Hola cobras, me llamo Najara Paez, and today I'll be reading out a concha recipe. A concha is a traditional Mexican pan dulce, or sweet bread in English. But conchas, without a doubt, they're the most popular and most recognizable. No other pan dulce is more representative of Mexico, and it's the love of bread. With this authentic concha recipe, you'll become more familiar on how conchas are made, and you can bake them in your own kitchen. How do you eat conchas? Well, almost everyone eats a concha like eating a donut, by taking a big bite out of it. Many also like to dip it in a glass of milk or Mexican hot chocolate. However, some of us enjoy slicing the conchas in half and spreading warm, refried beans on them. Some people also spread on natas, which is a thick, creamy film that forms after you boil raw milk. Regardless of how you eat it, a good concha will taste delicious no matter what. Let's move on to the recipe and learn how to make conchas at home. How to make conchas, the recipe. The following ingredients. The recipe is for 16 conchas too. 500 grams or 3/4 cups of all-purpose flours plus extra for dusting. 125 grams or 2 tablespoons of white sugar. 7.5 grams or 1/2 teaspoons of instant dry yeast. 3 grams or 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 100 grams or 1/2 cup of non-salted butter at room temperature. 100 milliliters of eggs. Use a measuring cup. It will equal around to 6 to 1/2 tablespoons. 5 milliliters or 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 120 milliliters or 1/2 cup of milk warm. For the topping, you will need 100 grams or 1/2 cup plus 1 teaspoon of vegetable shortening. Leave extra to grease the dough and baking sheet. 100 grams or 7/8 of a cup of confectioner's sugar. 120 grams or 1 cup of all-purpose flour. 5 grams and 2 through 1/2 teaspoons of cocoa powder for half the topping if desired. 1.5 grams or 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, optional for white topping. Now on to instructions. Have each ingredient ready and measured by weight. Mix all the all-purpose flour, yeast, sugar, and salt in the bowl of a stand mixer at medium speed just to mix it well. Add butter and mix well, using the stand mixer with a hook attachment. Then mix in the eggs and vanilla extract and slowly pour the milk in little by little until the dough looks cohesive. You may need less or more milk as some flour soaks up more liquids than others. Keep beating the mixture for about 7 minutes at a medium speed. Add a little more flour around the inside of the bowl, 2 to 3 tablespoons. Just enough for the dough to separate from the container. The dough should be soft and slightly sticky. Also, your dough should feel soft and elastic. Place the dough on your floured working table and knead it just enough to shape it into a ball. Place this ball in a large greased bowl to rest. Cover it with a plastic or wax paper and a kitchen napkin. Let the dough rise in a warm place for about 2 hours until it doubles in size. I usually turn the light on my oven and place the bowl inside, close to the light. Be aware that if your kitchen is cold, the dough will take longer to rise. Be patient. Do not try to proceed to the next step until the mixture has doubled in size. Making the concha topping. While the dough is rising, you can prepare the sugar topping. Soften the shortening with your spatula until it's very creamy, and then add the confectioner's sugar. Finally, add in the flour little by little, if using the ground cinnamon in this step. Set this paste aside to use later. If you're making half of the conchas with chocolate topping, then divide the paste into 2. And add cocoa powder to 1/2, mixing it until it integrates very well. Once the dough has risen and doubled in size, place it on a floured surface and let it rest for about 5 minutes. Divide the dough into 16 small balls. To shape the balls, lightly flour your hands and place each small ball on the working surface and gently press down with your hand, rotating your hand to form the balls. Place them onto a greased baking sheet and continue until you finish shaping the dough. Using your hands, grease the top of each ball with a little shortening. Do not skip this step, as it will help the topping adhere to the dough. Allow the concha to rise in a warm place until they are almost doubled in size. Depending on the temperature of your kitchen, this step could take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. Do not leave them to rise any longer because if you let them grow too much, they will collapse inside the oven. Bake in a preheated oven at 325 degrees for 20 minutes, or until the bottom of the conchas are lightly golden. If you're placing more than one baking sheet in your oven, rotate them after 10 to 12 minutes. Move the sheet on the bottom of the rack to the top of the rack and vice versa to have an even baking. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I'll see you later, Cobras. Bye-bye!